Hi, I'm Luann Sims, and welcome to Life After Baby on 1520 AM WCHE and streaming live on WCHE1520.com. From bottles to books, spit up to social media, diapers to dorms, and everything in between, each week I interview local parenting experts. Today's guest is Megan Davis, owner of Once Upon a Child in Exton. Once Upon a Child buys and sells gently used kids stuff. They pay cash on the spot for clothing, toys, equipment, and furniture. Megan, thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I really was looking forward to the interview.
Tell us about Once Upon a Child.
So Once Upon a Child, it's the little sister store of Plato's Closet and Style Encore. And essentially, we recycle kids' items. So in this area, a lot of times your kids skip sizes or you're inundated with these gifts during the holidays or birthdays. So it's a great opportunity to have a chance to get some of that cash back if you're not using it anymore, and then buying new items. Our average retail price point is only $5.50, so it's very inexpensive. And kids are expensive.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. As a matter of fact, I have a couple of interesting facts right here. The average cost for baby clothes is about $60 a month for the first year, but this varies and is highly correlated with income. I guess it determines your income level, determines how much people spend. But according to a report from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, families might spend up to $1,280 annually on kids' clothing, especially if you have tweens or teens, which is approximately 6% of the total cost involved in raising a child.
Wow.
That's pretty significant, isn't it?
Definitely. I mean, I thought it would be higher, though.
You know what? I was just thinking that. I'm sure it depends on region and your
Sure.
kids' taste in clothing and things like that. But I know that I have two kids, a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old, and I spend a ton of money on clothing. And it's so hit or miss. You might get an item that they wear. You know, my daughter had some dresses that she wore too big as a toddler.
Sure.
And then she wore them just right for a few years as like a preschooler and a kindergartner. And then she wore them as shirts with leggings for a couple of years in second and third grade. Sometimes you get something like that and you get years and years out of it. Or sometimes you get something and it never comes out of the drawer, it never comes out of the closet.
Right.
And so what a great solution you have for all of those issues.
And, I mean, trades, too. I mean, you could bring your items in, sell them to us, buy new items, and we can do a trade in the same transaction. So there's no cash sometimes involved. Like if you sell us an entire season's worth of product and then you come into our store and you find a whole new wardrobe for the next season, a lot of times, it could be a direct exchange or we actually end up paying the customer, the difference if their buy is more than what they're buying from us.
Outstanding. Yours is the store. I had got a text from a friend a few weeks ago who said, I just got $60 cash selling back all this stuff my kids don't wear anymore.
Good. I'm happy to hear
And
that.
I said, tell me about this place. I need to go there. So why don't you give us an overview from the seller's point of view of how the whole process works, and then we can talk about the buyer and what you offer.
Sure. When a customer brings their items into the store, we're looking for items that are in next to new condition. Part of that just has to do with the sheer volume of clothing that we're looking at every day. So we're really careful about the condition. We also want to make sure that the actual clothing was manufactured within the last 2 to 3 years. So most of the clothing that we look for is 2016 up to now, which is 2019. Just to make sure that we're buying the current styles, the current, trends, because sometimes, believe it or not, the kids' pants change year after year, and as long as it's current within that time frame, it still seems to be relevant. The customer may not even notice that until we go to clearance. I'm like, oh, how come this hasn't sold? And then we look at the date on the tag. I'm like, oh, it's because it's from 2015. So we look for items that are current. We also buy all seasons all the time. We actually aren't just a baby store. We go all the way up to youth 18-20, and we buy preemie too. So we have everything in between. We buy a variety of subcategories such as Halloween costumes, winter coats, snowsuits, shoes. We love toys and baby gear. We don't buy cribs or bedding or anything that's relating to like bathing or bedtime furniture, but we'll take changing tables and we will take like bassinets. We'll take play yards and pack and plays.
Excellent. So teens too, because
right.
That's most of the kids' consignment shops I've been in end at about 5th grade. I feel like once you get into that early teenage years, there's usually nothing left.
Right. And it's nice because we have them all in a row. There's Once Upon a Child, so we have the, baby all the way up to preteen. Then we have Plato's Closet for teenagers, bordering young adults, and then we have Style Encore just for women. All three are right there in the Wayland Town Center.
So I could go for myself as well. Is that what you're telling me?
For sure.
So tell me more about the dates on the tag. So can people check their own clothing to see what the date is at home?
They can. It depends on the manufacturer. Like Old Navy, Banana Republic, I know for women date their clothing, and then Old Navy for kids. I know Carter's dates it. There's a little tag. It actually even says if it's part of a set, because we buy infant clothing as sets if it's intended to be part of a set. Otherwise, we just look for like solid colors that are easily able to be mixed and matched.
Okay.
So there is like a second tag. Like typically you have like your size tag, and then underneath that there's usually like a second tag, a little one that has a bunch of numbers on it, like a UPC number, and then they'll actually have like the month and the year right next to it.
Excellent. Excuse me. Excellent. You reminded me of, as an adult, I know you don't realize, like you said, sometimes the styles and shapes are changing. I know I've had jeans in my closet that I think I'm going to fit into again, and sometimes when I do fit into them, I put them on and I realize, oh, I look like 1992 right now.
Right, and things come back. I think something that most customers don't realize is, again, the sheer volume. I mean, we've bought over 100,000 pieces since we opened at the end of April, and what happens is we only have 3 seconds to make a snap judgment. So it's just a way that we can go through the buy and kind of help the efficiency of it, because customers want to get their money the same day. So we need to find an efficient process to look at their items and say, on a fair base value, is this something that's going to sell in our store based on what we already have? And a great way to determine that is the condition of the clothing, and again, just the dates. We don't check everything for dates. I mean, there's certainly times, like a winter coat is a winter coat. Doesn't matter if it's 2014, doesn't matter if it's 2017, as long as it's generally a basic, style. It's just for the millions of baby clothes that we get in, it's just a good way to make sure that we're buying the best product that we can buy for the store.
So they don't necessarily have to be high-end brands?
Oh, definitely not. I mean, we buy brands from Walmart, Old Navy, Target. We have a million Cat and Jack brands in our store, and again, we have Carter's, we have things as high-end as Burberry. I mean, we just got Gucci boots in last week, so we have a wide variety. Exton is a great area, so we have a great diverse sales floor.
Excellent. Yeah, you know what? I have a pair of tween girl Uggs that are barely worn that I've been carrying around. Excuse me, in the back of my car, waiting to bring to you. So, so what about you? Do you buy seasonally? Could I bring a bathing suit in right now as we head into the fall?
We love swimwear. We pay cash for all seasons all the time. So whatever you have. Actually, we would never have enough if we only bought seasonally. We are buying so many Halloween costumes, swimwear for the upcoming season, because we're going to have a swimwear reveal actually in February. We're constantly building up for the next season.
That is so good to hear. So this is really a great experience. Because I had worked with other consignment shops when my kids were younger.
Sure.
And some of them I had to drop off and then wait weeks and weeks to see if they sold. And then maybe I would get a check for $6 and think, you know what, this isn't worth the time it took me to get it all together and take it over there. I'd rather just donate it somewhere. But if I'm getting cash on the spot and I don't have to be in a certain season, I can bring you anything year round. That's outstanding news.
I mean, we would try to make it as easy as possible. And with convenience, we are very value-based. We do a lot of charity work. We do a lot of donations with local schools and people who reach out in need. So even if you don't feel comfortable with the pricing that computer system comes up in our system, you can always take your items back. And again, we are very involved with the community. We do community walks. And like I said, we support local charities. Even though we just started, it's very important to me that we give back. And we're so community-driven in general. And we're always looking for new causes to contribute or see what we can do to help. And because we are more convenience-based and we're taking all the overhead costs, if you bring your items in, again, if our average retail price point's $5.50 and we're paying out 30 to 40%, you can on average expect about $1 per item, obviously more for youth clothing, Uggs, things like that. But if you have like a bodysuit, we have a standard price for that, or a book, we have a standard flat price for that as well.
Books. I missed that earlier. You do books too?
We love books. We love books.
You're kidding. I have a reader who could open her own bookshop in my tiny little Cape Cod house, and so it never occurred to me that I could resell books. That's excellent.
Yeah, picture books, easy chapter books, for sure, as long as they're not written in. I mean, it's amazing how many people write in the books intended as a baby shower gift or something like that. So for safety reasons, we can't take a book such as that. But typical books, absolutely.
Okay, so stop writing in your books, everyone,
That's right.
right? And when you give a gift, maybe put a message on a card and not inside the cover of the book, so that person can pass it on to someone else through Once Upon a Child at some point. That's excellent. So if people have things that they would like to sell back, do they need to make an appointment with you?
Not at all. You can bring it in any time up to an hour before we close. So right now our hours are 9:30 to 8 o'clock. That's our hours of operation Monday through Saturday. Sunday is 12 to 6. So as long as you bring it in at least an hour before we close, we pretty much always guarantee it'll be done the same day. And then you pick it up.
Excellent, excellent. And are there any hot items that always sell out that people should know about that they might have at home that, you know, maybe aren't being used so often? People come in looking for
toys. We can never get enough toys. We already have over 1,000 new in the box items for Black Friday that people have sold to us. The community has literally been amazing with the items that they bring in to sell. Pajamas. We love coats, anything seasonal. Like I said, swimwear. We actually take special occasion. I didn't mention that. So really nice Easter dresses, holiday dresses, little boys' suits. We really have a wide variety because it's amazing how many different events kids, you need to get them something for it or that wedding, and then the next season doesn't fit them anyway.
Exactly, exactly. I can't tell you how many Easter suits my mom sends my son an Easter suit every spring. And now my daughter will rewear an Easter dress, but very rarely does my son rewear an Easter suit. So
Absolutely.
I have about 11 of them still hanging in his closet. So I will put that in the bag with the Uggs, and I will be up to see you very soon. You know where else I've used it for many times? Consignment places for my kids when they perform in chorus. Sure. A concert at school, and they always need white tops and black bottoms. If I were you, I would have a whole section just for that.
Oh, that's a good point.
And it's great because you can go in and find the sizes you need, or find something that doesn't have a stain on it because maybe the one you've been using is suddenly, you know, they wore it to their school concert, then they wore it to recess, and now it's ruined.
Absolutely.
So what about sports and dance apparel? Do you sell cleats and dance shoes?
We
things
do.
Like that?
We actually have a small section of dance wear, leotards, some of the costumes that people have to wear for the dance recitals, the tap shoes, the ballet shoes, and then we have like a whole end cap of it, and then we actually have a dance store next door. So if you don't find it at our store, you can pop
go to
over
the dance store. Perfect. Perfect. You're going to get sick of seeing me.
And we love cleats too. We love cleats and sports apparel. Absolutely. We have a little Eagles end cap too, and a little Phillies end cap. It's adorable.
Well, I need to wrap this up so I can get over there right now because this sounds like a dream come true. I wish I knew about it when my kids were a little bit younger. Well, we are going to take a short break, and we'll be back with more from Megan and Once Upon a Child. Before we do, I would like to thank our sponsor, A Taste of Olive, featuring high-quality extra virgin olive oils and balsamics from around the world. They have 2 locations, one in Chestnut Hill and one right here in Westchester Borough. You can visit their stores, or you can order online on their website, atasteofolive.com. And if you use coupon code FAMILY, you can receive 10% off your purchase. So that's atasteofolive.com. This is Life After Baby. We'll be back again in a few minutes. Welcome back to Life After Baby. We're here today with our sponsor, Once Upon a Child, Exton, and the owner, Megan Davis. Thank you for being with us today, Megan. We've been talking about all the wonderful items that you sell in your store and how people can bring in items that they can sell back to you and maybe earn some money, as well as clearing clutter out of their children's closets or their own closets with your sister store. So can you tell us a little bit about how people should prepare the items to bring them in? Should they all be ironed and on hangers, or can you bring a big trash bag in? How do you like to see things come into the store?
Sure. I mean, I don't want anybody going above and beyond whatever, adding any unnecessary steps. That we'll take your items however you have them. If it's possible that you could lay them flat, freshly laundered in a bin or a box, that's actually the fastest way for us to sort them. So preferably not on hangers. Once they get in trash bags and they get crumpled up, especially if you have infant sets, if we can't quickly tell what goes with what, we're not going to be able to purchase them, just because we have about 3 seconds per item to decide if it's something that we should purchase for the store or not. So if it's laid nice and flat, quickly look it over, flip it over, look on the back, put it in our bin if it's something we're going to purchase. So if so, if it's possible for you to bring it in that binner box, great. If not, we will take it however you have it.
Okay, so just clean and flat, no dirty lollipops in the pockets and things like that?
I mean, as much as possible, we prefer not to, for sure.
Okay. Do you have any tips for people? So let's say you have young children, you're just starting this whole thing.
Sure.
Anything you recommend for taking good care of clothing or maybe mistakes that you see people make time and time again? Should we not be putting anything in the dryer or anything to protect clothing?
Sure. I mean, I think that moms have enough to do, and I think one of the easiest things to do is if you know that this is something that they're not going to be able to wear, or whether they outgrew it too quickly, just get rid of it right away. You know, we have a tendency to, well, I'll get there, and we create a pile, and then it sits there, and then before we know it, it's been 2 or 3 years when we had the intention of bringing it a couple months ago. We try to make it really convenient. We open at 9:30 instead of 10 o'clock because we want you to be able to come right after you drop them off to daycare, right after you take them to school. So we try to make it so that you can come in as soon as you have these items to sell instead of having to wait until you have a really big pile. The other thing I would recommend is a lot of times customers mix hand-me-downs with items that are a little bit more current because we have those snap judgments. If you know that there's something that has been worn by a previous child before or something like that, you are absolutely more than welcome to bring it in. But if you have newer items, I would probably focus on bringing those items in first, and then you can also bring the other items in as well. But a lot of times it is a little bit confusing, because we don't check the dates for every single item. So if we go through the first few things and we notice that it's 5 years old, and then we go through some items that look a little loved, but we don't check the dates and we don't realize that it's actually much more current. That's probably one of the hardest things to do, is because it's not efficient to check every single date, so then we're looking at condition.
Got it. Okay. So you don't want to make your whole lot of clothing, you don't want to drag it down by throwing in everything you find that's laying around that might be very old and dated. So put your freshest stuff up front.
Sure, but I mean, bring in whatever you have. I mean, we try to make it as efficient as possible so customers don't have to wait. If you don't remember when you purchased the item, there's a very good chance that it's older than the 3 years. That's what I used to tell people when I worked at Plato's Closet for a long time. If you don't remember purchasing it, that's
right.
A possibility. However, if it's still in style and it's something we need, such as a winter coat, I would absolutely put it in. So when in doubt, I would always say bring it in. And if, we love when our customers have an open mind because we make mistakes too. So if you have questions, just ask us. We're more than happy to go back through the buy, explain things. And sometimes because we are looking at that item for just a few seconds, if we make a mistake, we can add it in. But we're getting better every day.
Excellent. And, as a parent, one of the benefits of this is not only the cash that you may walk away with, but having the room to put clothing away. My son complains, he has piles and piles of laundry, and he complains that he can't fit anything in his drawer. My drawer is full, and I go, but we should just take your drawer, dump everything in it, give it away, and let's put the clothes that you actually wear back in your drawer, because that's the only thing that keeps coming through the laundry.
It's true.
Repeatedly.
I mean, most, kids only wear 20 to 30% of what they actually have in their closet because, the parents buy things that you want your child to wear, but then there's what your child actually does wear.
Right.
There was this customer I absolutely loved for years, and she was fantastic, and her little girl wanted to be Elsa every single day, and God bless her, every single day she wore that Elsa costume before, she had to go to preschool, and it was fine, and it worked for them. And I thought, that's really cool that she's letting her express herself like that.
Right, absolutely. 20 to 30%. But you know what you get in trouble with too? A lot of times at school, it's everybody wear a red shirt tomorrow.
Sure.
I always keep an orange, or I go to give away things like that, and I'm like, oh, someone's going to tell them to wear an orange shirt to school.
Sure.
And so you end up, but I'm sure your store is great for things like that too, because you don't want to run out and spend $20 on an orange shirt that they're going to wear at one time. So,
Wacky Wednesday.
Wednesday, right? Exactly, things like that. So, what about here we are, fall 2019. Are there any fashion trends or must-haves for boys and girls? Anything new coming out? Is corduroy popular?
Corduroy is popular. Sure, they're jumpers. I would say it's all about colors and it's about fit. So a lot of the color palettes are actually very similar to what you see for women as far as the girls go. So you have like your mustard yellow, and you have your red, and you have your navy. And then for boys are pretty easy. Navy, gray, brown, tan. So those are the colors. And then as far as like the trends go, they're pretty much just like a nice fit. Not a super wide leg, and then there's the really popular Matilda Jane where they kind of flare out at the bottom, and they have the ruffles and the serendipity. And of course, for girls, especially the little kids, there's always the pinks and the purples and the reds, just the really cutesy patterns and colors. So,
are boys, do you see elementary school boys are still wearing track pants or sweat pants to school versus denim? My mom is always, like, I got you, Eddie, some dungarees. I'm like, Mom, he doesn't wear jeans. He doesn't even own jeans.
Sure. I mean, we actually sell a lot of Gap denim. We get Gap denim in. We get some Cat and Jack. So we do definitely still sell denim. We get a lot of Adidas and Under Armour. We get Nike sweatpants. Sometimes we get Reebok sweatpants. It just depends. Kids also need play clothes. So it's hard to tell because they sell. Because if you just need play clothes, you don't really mind as much if it's a particular pair of sweatpants.
Got it.
Especially in the older sizes. With boys, a lot of times they wear their clothing harder, so we really look for that condition more than the date. Sure.
How about socks? Do you sell socks? Those boys'
New
socks?
socks, but we don't sell previously owned socks.
Okay. But if somebody has a pair that their kid never liked, because those boys' socks are really expensive, and they, for a while there, that was like trending, to have cool, expensive socks, $20 a pair, which I've never purchased. I want to go on record as saying, but my son wanted them for sure. So if I had a place to find them, that would be great. Well, we have a segment at Life After Baby that we like to call It Takes a Village, where we all come together. We realize as parents that we all struggle with the same issues, and sometimes getting a little help from our friends helps us get through things that we struggle with. So our question today that we'd like to discuss is, how do you prevent or handle in-store meltdowns? And I remember being guilty of this as a child myself, my mom telling me, I am never taking you shopping again, because even as a young teenager, sometimes I would have a little bit of a fit or start sulking. I would just be so bored that I would just make it unbearable for her to shop with me. So we asked our Life After Baby group of friends how people handle or prevent in-store meltdowns. And we got some really good advice and feedback from some of our listeners. So Caroline said, prevention is key. Go when they're well rested and fed. Handling it, take them out of public view if possible. Get down on their level. Keep your voice soft. Acknowledge their feelings. Saying things like, I know you're angry because I wouldn't let you have the candy bar you wanted, which often happens when you're at the grocery store. And leave as soon as you're able, giving them time to calm down. I think prevention really is key, taking them at a good time, realizing how much you can actually fit into a day. I know when I had an infant for the first time, my mom gave me some very good advice, which was just do one thing a day.
Sure.
You're not going to be able to run to 6 stores like maybe you could when it was just you. Just do one thing a day, and if you do that, you'll have some success and you'll still make progress. So I think that's important, not to overload kids and expect them to tag around along with you and follow you around store after store after store. So here's another comment from Langley. We set expectations as to what he will or will not get when we're shopping. That is a good one.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think a lot of times the meltdowns happen because the kids feel like it is going to be forever. And something that my mom used to do with me that was very helpful was the deal is that we could get one little thing. We had like a price limit in terms of how much it could cost. And she would say, okay, this is what I need to get done. This is how long I think it's going to take, so that I had an expectation like, okay, we're going to be here for this amount of time. And then the understanding was, if you want that little something, then you're going to need to.
Excellent. I think that's very good advice. Managing expectations in terms of time, in terms of how long you're going to be there, in terms of what their behavior is supposed to be.
Sure.
We don't yell when we're in stores. We don't pick up everything and handle it. We don't, whatever your rules may be when you're shopping. I think that's very good advice. Well, we are almost out of time for today, so I want to make sure we talk a little bit more about Once Upon a Child in Exton. Everyone knows how fast kids grow, so why spend all that money when you can get the same styles at a fraction of the price? Once Upon a Child in Exton. I have to start that over. I got a text that cut off what I was reading. Will he be able to cut that in?
I cannot do it.
Thank you. Sorry.
No, you're good.
And now I can't even find my doc. It probably went away.
But see, it's good. It's only one time they have to do that. It's
I
really
hope
good.
so.
You're a pro.
All right, we'll start with this commercial. Okay. Everyone knows how fast kids grow, so why spend all that money when you can get the same styles at a fraction of the price? Once Upon a Child in Exton has everything your kids need, so save time and money by shopping at Once Upon a Child. Have your kids outgrown those nice overalls? Trade them in for something they can use. Only at Once Upon a Child at the Whiteland Town Center, 193 West Lincoln Highway in Exton. You can reach them by phone at 484-873-3900. And tell them we said hi from Life After Baby. Megan, real quick, do you want to tell us about an event you have upcoming? I know you said you do a lot at the store.
We do. We're having a snowsuit event that is Columbus Day weekend. We have a pajama release this Saturday. We're always doing reveals and releases because we have hundreds, sometimes thousands of product that we're always like putting on a big display on a weekend. We're having a book release. We have over 1,000 books for Saturday, October 5th, 10 for $10 or 20 for $10 for teachers with ID. Again, always trying to give back to our community, especially our teachers. They do a lot, and we get a lot of teachers who come through our doors.
Excellent. You're going to be sick of me. I'm going to be there all the time.
Good. Well, we hope so.
Sounds not only exciting, economical, but fun. It sounds like a lot of fun to go to as well. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you for tuning in to Life After Baby. Life After Baby was created and produced by Leslie Hudson and hosted by Luann Sims. We'd like to thank Once Upon a Child Exton for sponsoring the show and joining us today. You can find them online at onceuponachild.com/Exton or on Instagram and Facebook at Once Upon a Child Exton. When the kids are finally asleep, visit our website at lifeafterbabyshow.com, find our podcast wherever the finest podcasts are found, and follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Life After Baby Show. And don't forget to take care of yourself so that you can take better care of them.